Okay, hello everybody and welcome to the Blitzball episode. I've deliberately begun this video on this screen here rather than anywhere else, like actually in-game, so that it remains somewhat ambiguous when in the story I choose to record this. See if you guys can guess exactly when it was. So I've come to a decision what I'm doing with the Blitzball stuff. I'm not gonna be cutting in loads of unlisted videos on YouTube of every time I hit a save sphere. In fact, I'm dropping that plan completely. I'm not going to be having Blitzball as an ongoing part of this series. However, I do at least want to play one league for you guys, and that's what you're going to be seeing in this video. So this is not a standard episode of the LP. I'll probably just title it as one of the regular ones. But yeah, what we're going to be doing today is Blitzball, and hopefully there's enough stuff to talk about for a reasonable amount of time. And I guess we'll just get into it. So I talked about some of these before. I'll just go over them again, alright? The very bottom option here, reset data. This will restore all players to their original teams, and it will restore everyone's techniques, send them all the way back down to level 1. See, one thing that's kind of actually interesting about Blitzball is it allows players to level up. See, the thing with Final Fantasy X is it actually did away with that standard RPG mechanic of, hey, you have characters in your team and as you play they level up, you know. And Final Fantasy traditionally had that in many of its games, a standard leveling system. So it'd be like, oh, you're probably going to be around level 60 by the time you beat the game. Obviously Final Fantasy X doesn't do that at all. It has you level up sphere levels, but they're really not the same. It uses the sphere grid instead. Well, Blitzball does have standard leveling. So while Tidus, you can't say, oh, my Tidus is level 30 in regular Final Fantasy X, but you can for Blitzball, you can say exactly what level he is. So anyway, reset data will drop all of that back down. The main reason you want to level characters up, I guess I can explain, but really it just bumps their stats and opens up the amount of techniques they can equip, which is always cool. So let's have a look at our team data, and I'll go back over exactly what's going on with the state of the Aurochs right now, okay? Tidus is on our team. This guy cannot leave our team whatsoever, so he will always be here. This window that I've actually got available on the screen right now, as you level up your entire team, as you get lots of wins with the Aurochs team level increases, right? And really this doesn't mean very much, but it means that while you're in the overworld, when you press square to scout someone, you can get more and more information. So in a previous video when I was scouting people out, you'd only see like that top chunk of information. You know, it would say Tidus, it would say level 3 and their team, right? Their contract and how much it costs. It wouldn't say anything else. But if you play enough Blitzball, you can actually get more and more and more information to the point where you can see all of their stats, all of their techniques, and all of something called key techniques, which I'll explain a little bit later on in the video. So that's one cool thing, one perk of leveling up your team. The other perk of leveling up your entire team is the fact that you learn more formations, which is always cool. So anyway, here's our team, right? We got Tidus, can't get rid of him. Datto, one of the original strikers on the Aurochs, we're not interested in him. He's still in the team because you can have more than 5 people, obviously, but I'm basically never going to be playing him. And what this means is eventually his contract's going to expire, and I'm not going to waste the gil keeping him on my team. So I'm just not going to have him there, and then he's going to say something sad and leave. So that's kind of the deal with this when you get players on your roster like this. One thing you can tactically do in Blitzball is you can recruit really great players from other teams that you don't even want to use, but you just don't want them out there. You don't want other teams using these players. So you recruit them onto the Aurochs and you make them sit on the bench forever. There's another technique with goalies, which I'll talk about later, which you can do here. Anyway, so we got Datto, we got Zev. Zev Ronso is the guy I've got in midfield now. I don't think we've seen a single game with him in midfield, which is so this will be kind of fun. We got Zalit. He's one of the new defenders we've recruited. He's a really good player early on. He's our best defender right now. But as we level up and stuff, I'm not probably going to get that far in the LP, but as you would level up, you'd be like, okay, I'm going to get him off the team. We've got Wedge on our team right now. This guy is currently striking, but slowly as he levels, this is the guy I described to you guys, as he levels, eventually he's good in midfield, and then he becomes a good defender and even a goalie right at the very end. We've got Keeper still on the team, who I'm just going to leave. Rop on the team is actually the best defender in the entire game. He is actually outclassed by Zalit a tiny bit right now. He really is. But Rop will massively overtake him eventually. And Jamal, who is a great goalie at the start. He's not a great goalie because he has particularly high catch. But as soon as you get him a couple of technique slots, the guy goes crazy. So anyway, that's kind of our team. Tournament, there isn't one on right now. In terms of the Blitzball world, we literally just finished the one in Lucas, so there's nothing going on. Then we've got exhibition match. This allows you to play any team you like. Really, you're never going to want to do an exhibition match. There's no point in it, except if you really want a player on an enemy team. See, what you can do is, the Albed Sykes, for example, right? These guys have got a really good goalie. The best goalie in the game, he's called Nimruk, but he's a member of the Sykes. So what you can do is go to, when you find him actually out there in Spira, wherever he may be, we haven't met him yet, but when you find Nimruk, you can press square to scout him. And if you scout a player, it actually means that there's a slightly higher chance that they'll leave their team, their current team, the next time their contract's up. So you scout Nimruk and he says, sorry, I'm already a part of a team. Then you just do a ton of exhibition matches against the Albed Sykes. And what do you know? All of a sudden, Nimruk's now available because his contract's expired and you can nab him. So that would be why you'd maybe exhibition. Tutorial is a bunch of random stuff we don't care about. And yeah, so team data. Oh, team data is what we really want. So there you go. Let's do a league. Now, the rewards here are a Mega Elixir. We still don't actually have one of those in game. With a tackle, which is actually a Blitzball technique. A Mana Sphere if we got third place, which we really don't care about. But also the top scorer gets a Return Sphere. That's going to be really handy and something I'd like to show off in the LP. So anyway, here we go. The Spira League. Round 1. We have to play like 9 rounds. And I will play probably all of these as legit as possible. The first round, we are playing against the Kilika Beasts. So starting game, Kilika Beasts. Alright, now let's have a look at some of these menus, which I never really did before. So we have to set positions. I don't think we had this option in the initial fight. So the first position we need to choose is who will be our left forward. So you can see that over there on the right. Hopefully I'll zoom in on the editing. Our left forward. So I'm going to make Titus our left forward. And now you can see his name's appeared next to that slot. So next is our right forward. Well, Datto could play in that slot because he's got high shoot. But we're not going to bother with that. We actually recruited someone new to the team, didn't we? We recruited Wedge. So look at the difference here, okay? Datto starts with 8 shoot, okay? If we'd stuck with the regular Aurochs, 8 shoot is what we'd have to work with. Let's go to the guy I recruited, Wedge, 17 shoot. Yeah, you see how crazy good this guy, like how different it is? So yeah, we're going to get Wedge on. Wedge doesn't have Jack shot, but he's really, really strong. So now we want to pick our MF, that stands for midfielder. So we're going to grab Zevron. So now the stats we're looking for here, in particular, are high endurance and high pass. He's also got some shoot. See, you have a lot of options in Blitzball who you want to put in what positions, and the midfielder position is very flexible. You can have a very defensive midfielder who's like just basically super tanky and can break to most of the team, or you can have a very like offensive midfielder who's actually got a lot of high shoot at the same time. And Zevron, so if he's anything, he's an offensive one. So we'll do that, and now we need to pick our left defense. So I'm going to put Zalit in that position. I think on my test file I actually had Rop there. And then we'll have Rop, eventually going to be the best defender in the game, over in right defense. Now we've got to pick our keeper. So keeper has 7 catch. Jamal has 14 catch. He has double his catch. And remember what I said, okay? The perk of Jamal isn't even that he's got high catch. The perk of Jamal is that he gets good techniques. This just demonstrates how bad the Aurochs are. They're just so bad. Alright, so there we go. We'll get Jamal. Now, you can imagine, if we were to go up against the Luka Goers again, are we really going to be scared? No, I don't think so. So here we would set our techniques, but we really don't have many players who have techniques because they're all very low level right now. So Titus unlocked one in his initial match. I'm going to leave him with the Jack shot. You'll notice that Rop, who started at level 5, actually already has a technique of his own too, called Drain Tackle 3. So if you look at what we can slot for Rop, you'll see he already has a bunch of techniques, okay? Nap Pass, this will send people to sleep if they try and intercept the ball. Venom Pass, this will poison them, making them basically run out of breath quicker. So he's got a couple that he starts with. And you see he's got a bunch on this page here, but we can only equip one right now because we only have one slot. So I'm actually going to leave this technique on, Drain Tackle 2. I'm just going to leave it there because I actually think it's quite strong. The other really strong one here is Brawler. And this says that it helps him to participate in encounters from further away. So that's really nice, because if an enemy's like trying to get to the goal and he wants to, now shoot, basically he can engage on him from further away. So anyway, we'll go with Drain Tackle 2. I think that is what you had, didn't we? And we'll hit done. Finally, there is one last page which I'll talk about on our next match, since I've been rambling for long enough. Let's proceed. I hope you guys are doing good, by the way. It's actually been quite a while, I've got to be honest, since I recorded a Final Fantasy X video. Again, I'm not going to tell you where I'm in the story, but it has been quite a while. It's after I got my standing desk, at the very least. And I'm sure that's got a part of it. Man, it's hard to stand for like 3 hours on the trot, recording something. Jeez. Alright, so here we go. This is our new team. Check it out. So this guy, they grab the ball, but instantly our midfielder tackles and grabs it straight off of him. Because he's such a good midfielder as well, right? He's got a lot of options here. So he has a lot of endurance, right? Now we want to break to Kulikan, who has 9 attacks, which should be okay. But unfortunately, it sort of looks like Zev is kind of screwed right now because he's only got 7 pass, and there's a bunch of people who are going to be blocking. So this could just be an issue. For the record, we're against the Kilika Beasts right now. These are all characters we have met in the story. These are the real players we saw on the boat when we were on the SS Winnow. And there you go, they're gonna grab that ball. But it's totally fine. Well, one rule of thumb, now very early game, like we are right now, when characters are all really low level, you don't have much health. So remember in our debut match, nah, he never managed to get it. So this pass might actually go through here. But do you remember in our debut match where, and he's just poisoned 2 of us. That's like really unlucky. Where Titus could only eject shot once because he didn't have the health. So there we go, he's going to try and break through our defender, but look at that difference there. 15 attacks straight away against that tiny bit of endurance. Now here's the thing, our defender, Zalitz is a defender, right? He can get the ball very easily, but look, he has terrible endurance and he has terrible pass. So if your defenders ever manage to get the Blitzball, at least if you're picking the ones I've chosen, you want to be careful, guys, because you basically have to hit square straight away and try and pass when no one's around there to intercept you or tackle you, because you can't push the line with these characters. They'll just lose the ball straight away. Their job is to take the ball from the other team and then instantly pass it elsewhere. If you spend too long faffing about on them, then it's not going to go well for you. So anyway, we'll go past. And who do we want to score? Well, Wedge is over there and looking pretty clear. He's only got 1 player near him. But the thing we've got to consider here is Zalitz only has 5 pass, and his pass might not make it all the way that far in the sphere pool. So instead, I'm actually going to say Titus is the better option because he has the eject shot, and hopefully we'll be okay here. So Titus being poisoned, you'll notice how rapidly his health's going down. And I had to stop there. I had to. Oh, what? That's ridiculous. Oh, okay, so I'm screwed now. Basically, if you guys watched that, right, he had over 120 health. He had over 120 health, which meant he could have eject shot. But for some reason, he lost 2 health randomly right there. So I think we're screwed now. I mean, maybe we can go just for a conventional shot. Let's give that a shot, shall we? So we'll do that. We'll break to this guy, hopefully hold the ball, yeah. And now we're just going to shoot and hope this guy misses with his block. No, he got a great block on there, so the keeper's probably going to catch that. Oh, it recoiled, but Wedge claimed the ball. This is it. So here we go. Now Wedge has got it straight away. Very low health on Wedge right now, so we have to be careful. 9 endurance against 9 attack. So this is basically 50-50 if you think you can score. So I'm actually not going to break. I'm not going to flip a coin here. I'm just going to shoot. I'm going to use my 17 shoot, go through the 6 block and the 6 catch. And there you go. He missed completely. And we got the goal. Sometimes you got to do stuff like that. You know, if I'd taken the risk, if I decided to break instead, I'm flipping a coin whether I even get that goal in. Sometimes you just got to pay attention to the maths a little bit more closely. But yeah, you know, this idea, I actually really like early game Blitzball because this idea of not being able to use certain techniques and even having players, you know, almost completely eliminated, as it were. There you go. So Zev grabs it again straight away. This time I'm not going to let him get surrounded by the entire team. We're going to break to both of these guys. Larbite, you'll notice, has terrible attack. That's because he's a forward player and we're currently in range of their forwards. So Zev is just going to face tank both of these guys, and then he's going to pass straight away to Wedge, I guess. Actually, you know, I could have dribbled with him then, and maybe even tried to get Zev to score. But I don't think that would have been worthwhile. So Titus definitely doesn't have the health to eject shot. But he's more open, actually, so I'm going to go to Titus here. But yeah, I like early game Blitzball. I really do, because there's more mechanics to play with. You know, you don't get such a crazy overpowered team compared to others. I mean, you can get put much more on a level footing. I mean, Titus is just screwed here, so I may as well just shoot. There we go. So here you go. An enemy's using a technique there, Venom Tackle. And you might have noticed that his attack was originally like 9 or whatever. But then because he chose to use a technique, it went higher. So that's something else you have to consider later as well. You might be like, oh, I've got 7 endurance and they only have 5 attack. I'll probably be fine. But they might have a technique equipped. And they use that technique and it pushes you way higher. So, yeah, I like the early game stuff. There's just more focusing, particularly with health. Like, the way that characters level up and how quickly they get more health. I'm going to go for a very long pass here, and I don't know whether Zalitz can pull it off. You know, he's not. Oh, he did! Awesome, that was so close. You know, that's just, it basically becomes a redundant mechanic. Pass as well, too. You know how passes atrophy through the sphere pool? And I took a risk there. I took a risk to say, should I break to these guys? No, I'm just going to try and shoot again. This is the exact same situation as before, isn't it? So we'll do that. I took a risk there. You know, I wanted to pass the Blitzball, and I took a risk that it might... Wow, I can't believe they managed to block that completely. I took a risk that they, he wouldn't be able to catch the ball. As you level up, it doesn't even take that long. You know, maybe when all your people are level 5 or so, it's really not very long. You just find that all your passes are such high stats. Now, granted, all the enemies' block stats are really high, but in terms of, you know, the ball floating through the sphere pool, it doesn't atrophy quicker. As far as I'm aware, it doesn't atrophy quicker. So, you know, you just never have to worry about it anymore. There you saw a great example, by the way, of really solid defending. Have you noticed how every single time they've got it into our half, I think it's only been Zalitz, actually. Zalitz is better than Rock right now. Every single time, Zalitz has just taken the ball back. Every time. So Titus is still low on health. So we're going to go back over to Wedge. That's another long pass, actually. And here's an annoying thing. Because I've committed to this pass now, I can't stop and just keep dribbling. So I guess I'm just going to go for Titus and try and shoot without the jet shot. Just at the goal, hopefully with this one defender. Yeah, there you go, the one defender. So we'll break to DM, who only has 8 attack. I think he has that technique, but we should be okay. And then we're going to try and shoot. Yeah, okay, so we're good. And hopefully we get going in there. Now, there is some inflation of mechanics. That was good. There is some inflation of mechanics. Namely, as more techniques start coming around, as different players are on different teams, as you unlock more formations. So formations are like... I nearly always just use the default formation, which is what you can see right now. Your midfielders in the middle, you've got your 2 forwards who are actually playing forward, and then you've got your 2 people behind. But you can, like, learn new formations. You can learn, like, a flat line where all your players are, like, flush together, almost like it was an actual game of rugby, right? And then they try and advance together. You can go, like, an all-out attack where everyone centers on the middle. So there you go. Again, he grabs the ball every time. And this is kind of annoying in Blitzball, where you get the ball fair and square, but then they can somehow contest it again. It's kind of irritating. But I guess, you know, the idea is, in my mind, at least, in my mind's eye, these moments are always like grapples between the players, you know. But yeah, so you can get these different formations. I believe you're actually, in the cutscene in Luca, when Wacker and so forth were playing against the Albert Sykes, you actually got to... I want to do this before that other defender. Well, we're screwed now, aren't we? We'll go like that and then shoot and just see what happens. You actually saw an all-out attack. But these things you only learn like much, much later. So there you go. Alright, it's half time. Half time will do a few things for us. Number one, it will give us a chance to get some experience. So it always shows you the enemy team's experience first. Now, these are the Killer Beasts, so if they level up a lot, they get crazy good by the end, but you don't have to worry too much. So anyway, there you go. You get experience in Blitzball from the amount of actions you've taken in the match, right? So now our team's going to come up. And you'll notice that Zalitz leveled up a lot there. And that's just because he had a lot more stuff going on than other people. You also get more experience when you use techniques. So after a while, it's just worthwhile using techniques all the time. Because you never have to worry about health. And you know you're getting more experience for using a technique. So even if it wouldn't be beneficial in that situation, you may as well use it just for the extra XP. So anyway, there you go. You can see here, like, so over Zev. When he leveled up there, he got more health, he got more block, and he got more pass. Wedge got more block, more attack, more endurance, more health. Zalitz just got a ton more health, even though he leveled up a bunch. So there you go. Halftime is also going to cure us of our conditions. So there's a few. You can fall asleep, you can be withered. Wither is like where one of your stats is halved until you use it again. Or you can be poisoned. Now the poison means, a default mechanic in Blitzball is you have your health, and while you're holding the ball, your health is constantly going down. But if you pass the ball away, it starts to go back up. So the idea being that you want to pass the ball, you shouldn't be able to pass to the same forward every single time and score in the same way every single time, because they should run out of breath or health, right? But that doesn't happen because everyone ends up getting a loads of health. So poison isn't actually that amazing. Poison just means you run out of breath quicker, your health goes down quicker, and it also means that while you're not holding the ball, your health doesn't go back up. And so that's why Titus in that match Didn't have enough health for his first eject shot, and then didn't for the rest of the match either, because he was permanently poisoned. So you can get other techniques that help you resist poison, stuff like that, but we don't have to worry. So anyway, we'll set up positions again, and Zalitz here, as you can see, actually learned a new slot, so we can make him an even better defender here by giving him a technique. Now, here's a really interesting technique. This one's called high risk. Not many players ever really start with high risk, so if you ever want it, you've got to like tech copy it from someone else, which I'll show you soon enough. But so this thing lowers all your stats by half, but it doubles your XP. So if you've got kind of crappy player that you've just put on your team just because you want to carry them, right? You can carry them with the rest of your team. You can put high risk on that crappy player and level them up insanely fast. Very, very strong, especially for some keepers, and I'll talk about that in a second. So anyway, here, this one as well, called Elite Defense. This allows you to find and intercept the ball carrier from further away. Very similar to the Brawler thing I was talking about before, but I'm not actually sure the difference too much between them. But we're going to put Elite Defense on him. So, I mean, that's perfect for a defender, right? And we'll hit done. And so now I'll talk about tech copy, right? So this is the screen I skipped before. It's called Marking Players. So the idea here is, you know how I told you guys there are formations? There is also a formation called Mark, right? And when you're in Mark, it means all of your players will follow certain other players, okay? So I'll demonstrate this to you guys, right? We're going to set a mark for Titus, so I'll press X to set a mark. Now here comes a list of the enemy team. So let's have Titus mark Isken, sorry, right? So this guy here, if I do that, now that Titus is marking Isken, if I set them to that formation, then Titus will just always follow that player around in the sphere pool. Always follow him around. And that's not necessarily a negative thing. It's not necessarily the strongest formation. It means that all their players are marked, obviously, and that has its advantages. But the main reason you want to do this is because if a player is marking an enemy, they can learn techniques from them. So Titus, as a character right now, he doesn't know Venom Shot. All he knows is Sphere Shot and Eject Shot. But by marking Isken, you'll see as I mouse over him here, in the bottom left-hand corner, it says Venom Shot down there, and it's written in blue. So that means that this character has Venom Shot equipped, Isken has it equipped, and Titus could learn it from him if he was marking him. So here's our choice, right? We can go through their team. We could make Titus mark Larbite, so he would learn Venom Shot. Isken, so he would learn Venom Shot. Veroja has something called Tackle Slip equipped. Now, Tackle Slip, Titus can't learn. That's something that he just cannot learn right now. He's not a good enough Blitzball player to know Tackle Slip, so he can't get it. So we wouldn't want to mark Veroja. But we can have a look at Kulikan here, who has Venom Tackle and Elite Defense. This guy's got 2 slots. Titus can only learn 1, but whatever. DM here doesn't have anything, neither does Nizaret. So I'm going to go with Isken. And now we'll go through. So who does Wedge want to mark? Well, Wedge already knows Venom Shot. So how about Wedge? Oh, look, Wedge can learn Tackle Slip, though. So we'll make him mark Veroja. Now, Zev can also learn Tackle Slip, but he's not high enough level yet. So your characters need to be a high enough level to be able to use these abilities. On my test file, actually, I'm sorry, I'm telling you guys a lie. Zev Ronso actually starts with Tackle Slip, I believe. I think that's one of the first things he ever learns. Because I know on my test file, I had him with Tackle Slip. So if you can see here, Zev doesn't seem to know anything from the enemy team. So we'll ignore it. Let's have a look at Zalitz here. Zalitz, nah, there's nothing he can learn. So we'll ignore. Rop. Ah, look, Rop can learn Tackle Slip, so we'll make him mark. And Jamal. Now, there are some ways that you can, like, game the game. You can cheat the game out, basically, by having your entire team marking just one player on their team, and then that moves the AI in a certain way, that you can do that swim behind the goalie trick in an even more cheaty way. But yeah, so we'll go proceed. And, you know, you can do tricks like this Mark mode. You can go like Mark mode, make all the Blitzball players basically swim to a certain area, and then just pass to one person who's completely open, and there you go, you're done. So, it's not enough to just mark. So, there we go. These are the Aurochs that have got the ball now, because Zev just caught it, which is the first time we've won a Blitz off in a while, I would say. So, I've got a decision here, basically. Which forward do I want to go to? I could pass to one of my backline guys, because we're already winning 2-0. So, I could just pass to one of them, swim behind the goal, and cheese the whole match out. I'm not going to do that, not at least for this match. The other thing I could do is pass to Zalets or Rop and then have them keep passing to one another, because it tends to be your forwards get more experience because you're constantly trying to push the advantage and score, while these guys are left in the dark a bit more. And you'll notice I actually can't pass to my goalie. My goalie is not someone I can pass to, and for this reason, because you can't willingly give the goalie the ball, your keeper tends to get very, very underleveled very quickly. So what you might want to do is add a new player into your roster and then swap your goalie into the actual match, right? So we would replace Rop with Jamal, and then you can keep passing to Jamal, maybe with high risk equipped, and he'll level up very quickly, and then he'll still be a good goalie. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise enemy goalies will level up quicker than your one, and that's just the sad truth. Again, another issue with it. So anyway, we want to pass to a forward. Let's pass to Titus here. Just like so. And the goal here is to try and take a shot with only 2 defenders. Now, you notice the enemy team here. There we go, that should be fine. The enemy team, right, I've got 2 people aggroed on me, obviously. But above, you'll see that all 3 of them are really far left back. That's because the enemy AI just changed its team's formation. So look, this time, Titus has 159 health. So no break. Shoot. Eject shot is available. And so you can see, you know, early on, like, the eject shot is very, very strong. But it gets much more overpowered, in my opinion, later on. When health is no longer an issue, that's when the eject shot gets crazy. And sadly, it doesn't take long for health to not become an issue. So there we go, that's 3-0 now. We really don't have to do very much more this game. But there is one interesting balance to Blitzball that I never talked about before. I stand by what I said, that this is a fun minigame, but it's got some serious issues with it, like serious issues with it, that unfortunately... There you go, that was damn it, man! I wish I could have shown you guys that. So that was tackle slip, and just as tackle slip came up in the top left-hand corner of the screen, it said tech copy. And if I'd pressed X at that specific moment, I would have taught my guys that ability. But it's such a fast animation, it's actually one of the harder things to learn in the game. So here we go. This is our defender. We don't want him to get tackled or anything. We'll pass over to Wedge, who looks like he's in clear space. And we'll go over there. So yeah, I stand by what I said, that the game is kind of... It's got its issues, and it's, you know, that can cripple it in some ways. But it is funny that at the same time, okay, I'm going to try and break 9 attack, 10 endurance. As long as he doesn't have a technique... Oh, no, that's a venom tackle. Oh my god, Wedge held it. Amazing. Good job. But there's this weird self-balancing thing, right, that they clearly never thought of. But if you do choose to cheese out every single match, you score 1 goal, you pass to your back line, you swim behind the goal, you sit there, you never move again. If you choose to do that, and you also want to play tons and tons of Blitzball, then your team doesn't get much experience. And all the other teams get a lot more, and unless... There you go, I learned it. Sweet. So I pressed X, and because Rop was there, or I guess because Rop was watching, it actually said Rop learns a new ability down there in the bottom left-hand corner. So that's sweet. Tackle slip, by the way, is one of the strongest techniques in the game. It's so strong. So we go. We now got drain tackle we can choose. I mean, why not? It will get us more experience. I mean, right now, maybe one of the reasons we would not do... So Larbite's got 0 health there as well, you'll notice, which is really kind of funny. So, and we intercepted the ball straight away. We just have such good control over the ball. So yeah, you end up just very, very underleveled. And so you sort of can't cheese it out forever. Because you get to a point where you can't score anymore up in the front, you know. You have, what, 1 forward that's sort of... No, he's just not going to be any good. So we go, Titus again, he doesn't have the health for the eject shot. Here we're seeing the weakness of Titus. That, you know, he's a gimmick. He's a gimmick character. He doesn't have much in the way of any stats at all. He just has the eject shot. Now, he keeps pace with other forwards. He really does throughout most of the game. But I would say a very end-game Blitzball team probably wouldn't have Titus on it. Now, you can't get rid of him from the Aurochs, but you can put him on the bench. So you can have, like, 5 guys out in the sphere pool that aren't Titus. And you'd have, like, I guess you would have Larbite, I think it is, from the Killiker Beasts. Shooting, and maybe like Velucha, who's that woman in Besaid that was talking about the fabrics and stuff and becomes one of the key members in FFX2. It's probably what you'd do. So yeah, I got so many defenders here. The Killiker Beasts just aren't letting it go. And really, you just want to get to a point where you just start clicking through stuff. So there we go, we passed it. The reason you want to do that is because the more time if you know it's a lost cause and you're in a bunch of menus, what's the point in faffing about, you know? What is the point? You may as well just skip through so that the timer keeps moving. And look, they're in the same issue here. But look, that character has 15 pass. Titus missed completely. Their pass isn't going to go through here because it's too long. It went to 0. We might get the recovery. We didn't. Veroja did. So now we're going to try and aggress here. This is really good positioning actually from Zalit's being so far up here. But because of his crazy high block, because he's a defender, he's actually going to be able to nick that straight away. Now he's got a break to Veroja, but he's not good at holding the ball once he's got it. So we're not going to break and we're just going to try and pass through. Turns out our pass is pathetic as well. This is what tends to happen when you have 2 defenders by one another. So I'm just going to try and pass to the closest person possible. Well, whatever. There you go. Time's up. I didn't actually realise the time had rolled on so much. And that's the first match of the league. And wow, we're 30 minutes in the video. So Zev's slots increased to 1. Rop learned tackle slip. Pretty awesome, actually. I'm really happy that Rop's got tackle slip. Because you know how I said that your defenders can't hold the ball very well? Well, now Rop can like just flat out dodge attacks. That's what tackle slip does. It gives you a chance to just completely evade an attack. It might disorient your player when it happens, but you know, you can do that absolutely. So there we go. Now we get the scoring lead. Sorry, I'm so used to just spamming X through these. So it shows you the position, how many points people have got in the league. Now our Besaid Oryx team level is 1. There you go, because that was our first ever win besides the story one. We're going to hit continue playing Blitzball. So there's 2 rewards for a league. Hopefully I was clear about that. First place is the Mega Elixir, second or third place. But also the person who scores the most goals gets a reward for their team too. So if that player is on our team, we get the return sphere. So here, you'll see a tournament is now available. And as you can see, the first place prize in this tournament is something called Attack Reels. Attack Reels is Wacker's second overdrive. Element Reels is his first, Attack Reels is his second. That is now available to us. This is how you unlock Wacker's extra overdrives. All the different characters have different mechanics for unlocking new overdrives. Tidus's is the most basic. It's, you know, use it a lot. Or maybe Lulu's is the most basic, just learn new black magic. But so Wacker, you have to do it through Blitzball. People who don't like Blitzball get annoyed in this game because at the very end of the game, if you want to make Wacker like amazing, you may have to play an awful lot of Blitzball. But you know, that's fine, and I've got save files with it all already done, the grind and stuff, so it's fine. But Attack Reels is there, and by the end of this video, or I'll finish the video and then I'll do it off screen, I will get Attack Reels for him. Even though this is only Wacker's second overdrive, it's actually his strongest overdrive in the whole game. It's actually the most powerful ability in the whole game. I think it, the numbers at the very end of the game, he can do like 1.4 million damage, I think is what he does with Attack Reels. No word of a lie, like, it's really high. It's like 12 lots of 99999, so whatever that is. But anyway, so let's just keep going with our league here. Round 2, the Besaid Oryx are against the Ronso Fangs. This will be a fun one because we've got a Ronso in the midfield, and then we've also got a whole team of Ronsos on the other side, so we'll never know who won the blitz off. So here, look, Zev has now got a slot, and you'll notice straight away on his second page, he's already got Tackle Slip available, so I'm definitely going to put that on him. That just allows him to tank so much stuff combined with his high endurance. It's awesome. There's another thing over here, though, called Golden Arm. Now, this slows shoot and pass loss during passes and shots. So while the ball is traveling through the pool, as like shoot would be constantly dropping down, this slows that. Golden Arm is really strong, actually. It would even be strong on him too, because he could catch the ball on a blitz off and then shoot straight away, and I'm going to try and demonstrate that to you. I will have Tackle Slip on him normally, but Golden Arm as a bit of a gimmick, we may as well show off. So there you go. And Rop, I'm going to get rid of Drain Tackle too. And I am going to put on that new thing we learned. Where the hell is it? Tackle Slip. There we go. So that will give our defenders a bit more staying power with the ball. Does mean he'll find it a bit harder to take the ball, which is his primary thing, you know, as a defender, but hey. Alright, so we'll just set a couple of marks. So look, there's some new Ronsos. A new team here, obviously, they're all Ronsos. So these guys have got something called Spin Ball, which Titus can't learn anyway. This guy's got something called Grip Gloves. That looks kind of interesting. Let's go over to Jamal. So their goalie has Grip Gloves, and Jamal can learn this ability. So we're totally going to do that. And it's very easy to learn a lot of goalie abilities, because you're constantly shooting, right? You're constantly shooting. So you get loads of opportunity to try and tech copy stuff, so... That's nice. Let's go to Rop here. Can he learn anything? No. Zalits. No. And finally, these guys. No. So some people will say that a perfect run of Final Fantasy X includes getting every single Blitzball player in the entire game, all the free agents, all the players and all the teams, up to level 100, and getting every single one of those players. So who's going to win this Blitz off? Was it us? Yes, it was. Okay, so I'm just going to swim forward as close as I dare. Now, the Ronso is slow, so you can do that. And now I'm going to shoot, right? The goalie has 9 catch. We're shooting from the halfway mark, so we're probably not going to score. But this will at least demonstrate that his shoot doesn't go down that much. It doesn't degrade that much as it goes through the air, you see? It would have degraded a lot more. Oh, and I missed my tech copy there. And there's a chance, you know? There's a chance you can score from that kind of thing. I think it's actually possible to score, like, what is it? 10 goals or something? In a Blitzball match, more than 10 goals, but you have to catch it, shoot, or you basically have to have a midfielder that's so strong, he can shoot instantly and he can tackle it instantly. So there you go, Zev's got it again. And someone over there, as you may be able to see, I'm going to break to our guy. We're going to pass all the way up there to Wedge. We're going to try and score with Wedge. I can't remember what I was saying just now. I guess it was something about tech copies. Oh, no. The idea of a perfect game of Final Fantasy X, right? They'll say it's all the players with all the techs, and that takes a long time. Very difficult. And there's crazy RNG on some of these techs as well. So I'm taking a bit of a risk trying to break here, but we survived. We're probably going to score this. Get ready for the tech copy. So Jamal's level is too low, you see popped up there, even though I pressed X. So that means, unfortunately, we can't learn it right now. It's actually a big pain to learn a lot of techniques. So there are some weird, rare techniques, okay? There are techniques that, so you know how you can get poisoned? There is something called anti-poison. There's also a condition called wither, and there's anti-wither. Now, the anti-wither techniques are really, really, like, hard to get. So, and I think there's some other better examples of really difficult ones as well. So that's just like one of these insane things some people can do. I've even seen one guy who's trying to do this challenge where he's done all the players, all the techniques, including a player you can only recruit at one tiny moment in the story before he dies, basically, and you can never get him again. It's kind of crazy how obsessive people get. So here you're seeing the strength of the Ronsos. Look at this guy. Despite my amazing defending, I couldn't get it off of this dude. I couldn't do it. He just kept tanking everyone. That's what they got. They got high endurance and they're slow. So anyway, he has crappy shoot though, so it was no problem for Jamal to grab the ball there. Passed it immediately to our defender. I'm going to pass it up to Titus. Because Titus is a quicker swimmer than these guys, I'm pretty confident he can get it around that forward there. Not that I'd even be that worried about that forward engaging on me. And I'm hopefully just going to get the midfielder and this guy in defense. See how much I've managed to swim circles around these guys? There you go, only 2 people. I've got 194 health. Shoot. Eject shot. I mean, now we're 2-0 up. We've pretty much got the game in the bag, right? So yeah, you know, there's different takes you can do to Blitzball. You can basically say, look, I only want to play Blitzball to get whacker stuff. There you go. So I managed to learn at that time. Jamal learned a new tech. So Jamal can now do that technique that goalie was doing to make him better. Now, he's going to want more slots eventually, you know, so you can equip multiple techniques, but yeah. So there's different ways you can play this game. You can either really enjoy Blitzball and totally get behind it, and deliberately not use the gimmicky things, you know, have the discipline to do that. Look at Titus is terrible, like 3 attack against 20 endurance. That's not going to go anywhere. Or you can just say, I don't want to play much Blitzball. I'm going to do the bare minimum games possible and, you know, score 2-0, maybe even 1-0, and just go swim behind my own goal, and I'm done. You know, and I don't even care that my characters don't level up that much, because I'm not going to be playing when they're all, like, level 60 and stuff. Blitzball's not that fun. I enjoy it. I found myself a lot while I was doing my test file. Thinking of, because, you know, there's not really too much to think about while you're doing this, but thinking of, what if, like, Blitzball was a standalone game? I just think that'd be so cool. One of the coolest things, I think, like, if I had infinite money, okay, it's like that, what's it, Office Space question. It's like, if you could have infinite money, what would you do? If I had, like, infinite money, one thing I'd love to do is to set up, like a company or whatever. It would be a non-profit, okay? And all it would do it would be go back to other people's IPs. Because it's a non-profit, I'm assuming I could do this and I wouldn't get into trouble for copyright and stuff, right? But other people's IPs and basically like re-release their games, but as a fan of those games and how I would like to have seen it re-envisioned. So yeah, we're playing an HD remake of Final Fantasy X, but it didn't really change anything, right? What if I could release a standalone Blitzball that just had removed all of these bugs, maybe had like online multiplayer to it, much more, there's a lot of depth here already, but work out the kinks and the bugs to it, and really make it a stupidly strong Blitzball. And I was thinking about all these crazy things that can make this an interesting game type. And it's actually much more fluid and interesting in 10.2. I told you guys this earlier. I think that the 10.2 Blitzball is much better. You don't like manually play the characters in that one, but because of that, there's less of like this breaking up of the action. It's much more boom, 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 boom. The ball's going all over the place, and people can intercept and dive around, and there's so many more animations, and it's a lot more fluid. It's fantastic. I really, really. So we're not going to set any techniques. I'm not going to mark anyone either. So let's just go through. It's really, really cool. So I'd love to have like a combination there, like basically Football Manager, Blitzball, or something. It would just be great. And I think about that with a lot of games that I really, really enjoy. Like even just stuff like this, that the Blitz off. The first one is a 50-50, sure, okay, that's kind of interesting, but now what? So this guy, we can actually take the hit, and then I'm just going to dribble. So we'll move through. It's like, and because our Ronso's quicker than their Ronso, we should be fine. We're now close enough to the goal, and with no one in range. Oh no, one of them got in range. Alright, well he's only got 4 block. Do we want to 13 endurance, 12 attack, or go through 4 block with the 12 shoot? And what is it, like a 7 catch? I think I'll try for the break. If we don't get it, then whatever. Yeah. But like, the blitz off, like it's such a crappy canned animation there. What if there was actually some play to it? What if it was all like real time? And instead of stopping every second, like you just binded each, like if you want to break to someone, then you press X, and then you like just select how many people it is as it comes up very quickly. Or if you just want to try and shoot through them, then you just press square. You know how basically football games work right now. You could totally make it into something like this. And I always think about stuff like that. As I say, I always think about stuff. Oh, we might actually get it here because we've done really good tackles. Yeah, Titus has got the ball. Go! He's got 200 health, 240 health. You can see he already double. These Ronso are so slow they might not even get in range for the jet shot. Oh, they did. So fine, where's the jet shot? Means we're going to get the one. There you go, 4-0. As I said, I think the max capacity for goals in a Blitzball match is like 11. I think it must be 10 shots. I think there's a thing about it, like maybe it can't go into double digits or something, or it can. It's just very hard because you just all these animations, they all just waste time. So you want to do all this stuff to shortest animation abilities, like jet shot takes ages, stuff like that. You just want to get rid of it. But yeah, there you go, guys. Really, that's a large majority of what I have to say about Blitzball. I'm just going to cut ahead till the end of the league here. This is only just into the second half of the second match out of like 9. So I will see you guys probably at the end. I'm going to cut, right? And when I cut, I will have finished the league. And I also will have finished the tournament. And we'll have both attack reels, the return sphere, and the mega elixir for continuing along our regular adventure out in Spirit. So I'll see you guys in a sec. Whew, I'm back. Okay, hi guys. So that took a really long time. And let me state, okay, this is the reason most people don't like Blitzball, I feel. Blitzball takes ages to do. So that league took me well over an hour or so. I've got to be honest, I did eventually start doing the swimming behind the goal thing since we decided probably not going to be showing much more Blitzball in this playthrough anyway. And I have another save file that shows all the cool stuff unlocked anyway. So yeah, it just takes ages. This is another reason, again, why I think 10.2 is better, because instead of 2 5-minute halves, it's just a 5-minute game, and then the whole game's over and you move on. Like, they really knew how to pick up the pace in that iteration of the game. So yeah, anyway, what you're seeing in the background right now is footage of the tournament. I never took any footage of the league. It's just lots and lots and lots of games, 10 rounds of games, and then once everyone's played each other like twice or whatever, then we go through and we finish. So yeah, this is the tournament. I did, as I was playing all this stuff, jot down a bunch of notes, things that I want to clarify and just talk about, since we probably won't have much more Blitzball discussion. So number one, I wanted to talk to you guys about something called key techniques. There should be some relevant footage of this right now. I actually learnt one of these for one of my characters while doing the tournament. Now, what a key technique does is it allows a player to learn techniques they couldn't learn before. Alright, so let me make this clear, okay? You recruit a player, let's say they're level 1, everything's at its base, it's regular level, right? Everyone's a level 1. That player will start with a bunch of techniques already learned, and it will also have a bunch of techniques he can learn. So as you're setting a mark, you can go through this long list, and you'll see that there's all these slots. Some slots have like a dotted line on them, and some are just completely blank. The ones with dotted lines are techniques that that player can learn. So as his starting techniques, you set him a bunch of marks and he learns all of these other ones and slowly fills up his grid. However, there are some techniques that players cannot learn. And the only way to make them learn those techniques, so for example, let's say we've got a goalie, right, Jamal can't learn, like, shooting abilities. They're not available. If we try and make him mark someone who can shoot, it won't come up, right? So, what if we wanted Jamal to be able to shoot? Well, to do that, you need to teach Jamal something called a key technique. Now, every single blitzballer in the game has their starting techniques and 3 things called key techniques, which, if they learn, unlocks a bunch more abilities they can potentially have. So, if your key technique is like wither shots, then what you need to do is tech copy someone else using wither shot, and it unlocks more of the grid for you, and then they get more options. And so that's exactly what I did there. That's the last like bit to leveling up your characters, and so you can see there's an awful lot of depth there with the different abilities that are in the game. Speaking of the abilities in the game, something else I don't think I mentioned in the LP. Do you remember when we were on the SS Winnow and Titus described the Ject shot to Yuna, and Yuna says he called it the sublimely magnificent Ject shot Mark III? You know how she said Mark III? Turns out, if you play enough Blitzball, you can actually learn something called the Ject shot 2. Yes, it is actually a thing. You can learn the Ject shot 2, and it's just basically a more powerful version of the Ject shot that costs more health. And funnily enough, I don't think Titus learns it by default. You have to learn it from other players. So that's just a quirk of the way learning abilities is in Blitzball. You'll actually find other people using Ject shot 2 before you can, and then you have to go grab it from them. And you can teach it to anyone you like, which is pretty cool. So let's talk about some other things. I equipped Tackle Slip earlier. One little thing about Tackle Slip that I only learned in this league. Okay, if you dodge an ability with Tackle Slip, you've got a chance to become disoriented. Okay, if you're disoriented and then you get tackled and you fail to dodge the second tackle, your disoriented character will lose a technique. Now, not like permanently, it just means for the rest of the match they can't use it. So, our guy with Tackle Slip, the guy in midfield, Zeb Ronso, let's say he gets disoriented and then he gets tackled. Well, unfortunately now he's lost the ability to do a sphere shot or something, for example. So that's a quirk of Tackle Slip. That's like the downside to it. However, in my opinion, it's still crazy overpowered anyway. Number 1, you've only got a chance to get disoriented. Number 2, you've only got a chance while disoriented to get hit by an enemy player. And number 3, you've only got a chance to lose a technique that you really care about. And with only 5-minute halves, I think it's totally worth it. Another thing, so something I didn't mention before, you know how I said that everyone levels up by using certain abilities, but your goalie is probably going to level slower, because it's so easy to win in Blitzball, enemy teams aren't taking many shots on your goal, so your goalie doesn't get much opportunity to use abilities, right? So your goalie levels slower. Well, to accommodate for this fact, it seems the devs did expect it to some degree to accommodate for it. Even if the goalie does nothing, he gets a special goalie bonus XP of like a certain amount. It's really not an amazing amount, and it still means that your goalie is going to be under leveled unless you swap him in like I described before. But yeah, that's goalie XP. It does exist. Some fun things, literally I'm just going through a list here of things that I noticed. Some fun things that happened with character swapping teams and stuff. Jasu, who we kicked off of the Aurochs right at the start, he is now playing for the Guado Glories, funnily enough. So I actually fought him right near the end of the league. And Biggs, the guy that stands next to Wedge in Luca, Biggs is now on the Albed Sykes team, and that's actually made their team a lot easier to fight. As I said before, the Albed Sykes are actually the hardest team to fight out of all of them, and it's because all of their stats in general are very high, but their goalkeeper, Nimruk, has insane catch. He's really good. He's the best goalie, and you should totally recruit him if you want to play a lot of Blitzball as soon as you can. I'll describe that in the LP as we go forward, when you can finally meet him. So what else? You might notice when you're marking people that after half time, all of the marks you set, the techniques are no longer written in blue, but they're written in white. Well, the reason that happened is because enemy teams change their techniques as the halves go by. Like, there's the foundation here for some really in-depth, cool mechanics here, where enemy teams change their techniques to try and counter-comp yours or whatever. In practice, it means nothing, but basically, yeah, enemy teams, they'll hot swap their techniques whenever they like between halves or between games, and when you play a game, the game sort of acts like all the other teams have played each other too, so that's why other teams level up at the same rate as you, and they all change their techniques and stuff all at the same time in the background. It's pretty cool. And I guess one other extra element of marking people is you're supposed to be able to do it to scout out their team and see what they have equipped, you know, and see what you can deal with, and then equip your own techniques to suit. So there should be some footage in the background here too of dragging the team around. So one of the ways you can cheese Blitzball out is swimming behind the goal. There are certain enemy formations that if they choose, then it really messes that up. You keep getting like a midfielder swimming into you. So another option, if the enemy team is really slow, they can't swim very fast, you can just drag them around the entire sphere pool, which is what you should be seeing in the footage here. In fact, I think the footage that I'm using has a character actually swim around all of the defenders, and then actually he is faster than them, so he swims right across the pool and actually scores from it. It's crazy overpowered. Another one of those things. I've got a little bit of footage of sleep in the video here, so you can see what that looks like if it lands on someone, and also some footage of a sphere shot. So this is the ability Titus was using right at the start of the game in that cutscene. It adds like a random number to your shoot, and you'll see I get a crazy high shoot on this sphere shot. It's a really strong skill, but it's like kind of random at the same time. One thing I regret I will not be able to show you in this Let's Play is the skill Invisible Shot. Do you guys remember I was talking about a guy in Killiker? Well, if you get him, one of his starting techniques is this thing called Invisible Shot. And what Invisible Shot lets you do is it opens up a totally new thing in the UI where you can actually aim where you want the ball to land on the goal. It's really cool. It puts like a crosshair on the screen and you can aim wherever you like. It's probably, in my opinion, is how all the shots should be. You should always be aiming where you want the goal. But whatever. One trick with Invisible Shot too, if you guys are going to be playing a lot and you end up getting it yourself, Invisible Shot, no matter what your shoot score is, no matter what the goalie's catch is a guaranteed way to score. The game is broken in that if you run Invisible Shot and you point your crosshair completely outside of the goal on the left-hand side of the screen, then basically the game's code doesn't allow for a shot to miss in Final Fantasy X. They're always on target, right? Even if your shoot's at 0, they always goes on target, and then it bounces off the goalie or gets caught by the goalie. So if you deliberately aim away from the goal with Invisible Shot, the game doesn't know what to do. So it just looks at the fact that you aimed really far away from the goalkeeper, and so you have a 100% chance to score, and it will go in magically. So yeah, a really cool little trick. Sorry I won't be able to show it to you guys, but at least we've talked about it. And so lastly, there you go. This is us winning the tournament. This is the UI here. Funnily enough, this tournament actually ended up almost exactly the same as the story tournament. We fought the Albed Sykes in round 2 and the Luca Goers in the final round. However, this time, instead of the Aurochs getting seeded, it was the Albed Sykes that got seeded. Overall, pretty easy, and our rewards came in. Waka has learned attack reels as an overdrive. We got an ether because we were top scorer in that tournament. And then over in the league, which I've completed, we got a return sphere, which I'll talk about in the regular LP, what we can do with that. And we also got a mega elixir, which is 100% restoration of everyone's health and MP for the entire party in a battle. Really, really strong. Anyway, there you go, guys. This has been the Blitzball episode. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time for more of the regular Final Fantasy X story.